Hey everyone, I'm Khalifa. I'm a consulting director at a global technology consulting firm, and I'm here to talk about what it means to be a consultant. How do you get into consulting? How much consultants make, and is it a good career choice for you ultimately? Just quick background on me. As a consulting director, I have about 20 to 25 people on my team and that support our customers globally. They help them with software decisions, software advisory, and also software implementations. And I'm happy to get into more detail on any of those subjects. In addition to this video, just let me know if you'd like to hear more. What do consultants do? At its root core, consultants are, or is anyone who is helping a company with certain advice, with a certain project, or any sort of task that they have. Again, at its most fundamental nature. If you are in technology consulting, you could, like myself, you could be doing multiple things. You can be advising a company on certain technologies or software they should choose for their company that will help drive efficiencies, optimize processes, etc. Or you can be implementing software as well. More specifically on an example type of project, if I use Coca-Cola, for example, Coca-Cola has invoices, bills that they, pay and or are giving to other companies that they work with. Something as small as a penny difference in their invoices between what they should be collecting and what they are collecting could make all the difference in terms of revenue. There's a term for that. It's called revenue leakage, which basically means you're losing money without really intending on it or being intentional. To kind of elaborate, a penny difference on an invoice multiplied by millions of invoices sent a year could make a large sum. It is a large sum. So, having consultants come in and find why there's a difference in what you're supposed to send out as the bill to one of your vendors and what you actually sent out can make all the difference. So something as small as that could be a problem we're helping our customers tackle. But it could also be, they're using a current software stack. And there's a lot of inefficiencies there. There's people in redundant roles, there are redundant tasks, multiple people are working on the same thing. And to really just help optimize what everyone on a company's payroll is doing and what processes they should focus on is something we would come in and advise on as well. Some of these things may seem like common sense, but when you are running large companies or even mid-sized companies, there just isn't time to pay attention to these sort of things all the time. And it sometimes takes hiring outside help or consultants to kind of identify those things and or act on them. So sometimes we'll make recommendations and give it to our customers and they'll go and implement the changes. Other times, they will task us to implement the changes that we are recommending to them. So it just really depends. So what do consultants make? It really ranges depending on what level of consultant you are. There are many ranks in between. I would say these days in technology consulting, the entry level base salary is around $100,000 and it scales up from there. You could be a consultant making $100,000. You could then move into more of a senior consultant with some experience in a certain field or industry or type of work, and you could be making anywhere from $120,000 to $140,000. You could then move to more specific niches or specific areas. So from a senior consultant, you can move into what some would call as like an architect role. And I can more than happy to dive into what that means, but you could be an architect, a functional architect, technical architect, and you can make anywhere from 140 to I would say 170, 180. From there, you can move to like a senior architect role. And as a senior architect, you can make anywhere from I would comfortably say 180 to 240, 250. It just depends what niche you are specifically in, what area you're in, what part of software you're in, what part of technology you're in. However hot a subject is kind of what commands the dollars for it, if that makes sense. So it really depends. After being an architect or some sort of very senior individual consultant, you can move to a director position, which is where I'm at now, and you typically, have a much larger team. You'll start to build a team around being an architect or senior architect, but once you're a director, you have a very sizable team. My team, again, is about 20 to 25 people. It's full of architects, consultants, developers, all sorts of personalities, and they all serve different roles and functions within the company. And as a director, you can, be expected to be an expert in the space, but you no longer have to do, the kind of in the weeds or be boots on the ground and helping specific customers or a single customer. You're really guiding your teams how to help with all of their customers. You're really trying to help grow the business from the consulting side, so helping grow the consulting firm. And you're really, leveling up from that perspective. So you're part of deal making, you're part of putting together what an approach or an implementation should look like, or what a project should look like. Sometimes our customers come to us and they have some sense of what they need to do or should do, but they don't know what everything should look like or what their project should look like. So we sometimes come in and a director would come in and help with the blueprint of what that should look like. And typically, you would do that. You could do that for a few years, and as demand grows, business grows. From a director, you can move into a managing director role or a partner role. Again, it depends where you work, and both of those come with high salaries. I would say somewhere in the 250 to 350 range. It could be way higher. I know some managing directors that are making 400 plus. I'm just trying to cover what I've seen myself, or what I know of people who are in those roles that are making, or what they're making. So yeah, and as a partner, and some managing directors, you get a part of the profit share, which means you own part of the company, you get dividends based off a percentage you own or invest in. And that's kind of where, as a partner, some partners can easily, in their third year as partner, make millions of dollars and scale up from there. So it's a very lucrative career, very lucrative space. I highly recommend it if you like fast-paced environments, if you enjoy just different challenges every day, and you enjoy almost guaranteed career progression. Career progression is always a priority within consulting. I have noticed, in my past, when you're in industry, sometimes you're always waiting for the next person to move up. You have to wait for someone to move to the next level for you to move into their shoes. With consulting, that's not really the case. As soon as you're qualified and there's a good demand of projects or need for more directors, more architects, more of whatever you're trying to move into, it's a very probable likelihood that you're going to get promoted. So that's one thing I would say, being in consulting it's worth it. I should add that in consulting in general, it's not all about technology. You can consult in almost anything. There's healthcare consulting, there's legal consulting, there's marketing consulting, sales consulting. So consulting is a broad area, and everyone has, their expertise that they either have gained from working a job or being a consultant in that realm of space and just learn on the job for a while. So yeah, there's a lot of different avenues with consulting. So how can you learn to be a consultant, or what skills do you need? If I talk about skills for a second, in technology consulting, there are, different roles you can be. You can be a technical consultant, you can be a functional consultant, or you can be sort of like a hybrid of both. A technical consultant, someone who potentially or most likely knows how to do programming, knows how to dig into code, knows how to code, things of that nature, knows the technical landscape of a company and the software they use, and can make recommendations along those lines. A functional consultant is someone who has more of that business lens and has been in situations or scenarios or companies and seen what has worked and hasn't worked, and they provide more of a business lens of how things should work. A hybrid of those two is someone who's more techno-functional, so someone who knows enough to be dangerous either technically or functionally, and can kind of marry the two together to say, these business processes make the most sense while supporting this sort of technical landscape. And by technical landscape, I mean, what kind of software are you using? How does a software talk to each other? How does a business interact with the software? That sort of stuff. What is the lifestyle like of a consultant? I would say it depends on the company you work for. If you work, for a company like mine, I work remotely from home. I work 9 to 5, and I typically have a lot of freedom in my day. Have a few meetings, but other than that, I kind of use the other time to prioritize what I need to do for work or personal, and I will get the work done when I need to get it done. There are also companies that require you to travel, and what that means is you're traveling Sunday to Thursday, or you're traveling Monday to Friday, and you're typically working from a client site or at your customer's headquarters or location, or with the team you're working on from their end. And, I would say it all depends on what you enjoy. I've seen folks who really wanted to get into consulting because of the travel, and they traveled a bunch for a few years and they got burnt out, and then were looking for something more stable where they were, kind of staying home or working remotely. That is probably someone like myself. I've traveled quite a bit. I travel a little bit now. I enjoyed it, and I have a family, things of that nature, so I enjoy being home most of the time now. The other thing I think that is important to know is, at least in industry, there's a saying that you should, work at the same place forever. You should stay there for long periods of time. And I've had the opposite experience. Although I've moved around every 2 to 3 years in different jobs, and it's done two things for me. One, it's gotten me the compensation I'm looking for that I feel like I deserve, and it's helped me grow because I've been put in challenging situations or challenging roles and had to challenge myself to learn more and grow more and to lead more. So that's been one of the biggest moves or differentiating things about my career versus some other folks that I know, I guess. And it's definitely helped me out. I also get asked a lot if you need a college degree to get into consulting. And believe it or not, I have hired multiple people who did not have a college degree or a 4-year degree from an institution, as long as they had some technical skill or some skill to show that they could learn what we do. I will say that is more of the difficult route. There are still a ton of firms that require a college degree and or relevant experience, but a college degree definitely helps, but it is definitely not the end of the world. Another way I would say, if you don't have a college degree to get in and you've had some work or years of experience, is honestly networking. Networking is a great way for people to get into the field, get into almost any job. I would say it doesn't just apply to consulting, but I've used networking in the past to get multiple jobs. I've used tools like LinkedIn to get actually every job I've ever had. So yeah, it's a pretty powerful thing. One hidden fact, or one thing people don't talk about a lot, is there's a slew of skills you gain from being a consultant. You become very good with tools like Microsoft Excel. You become very good at putting together your thoughts on paper, so which means like a presentation. Really, when you've mastered the skill is when your presentation almost becomes a story, and so someone walking in the room can understand where you're leading them from soup to nuts. So those are some skills I feel like I've used in my personal life as well, just from my job that I've learned, that I really love. And I'm sure you can learn those from other careers too. There's a lot of repetitious, deliverables or things you got to do as a consultant that are very inclusive of those things. The other thing I love that from being a consultant has taught me is time management. I'm extremely efficient with my time, from being at the airport and how efficient I am, or scheduling, tasks I have to do every day and or week, or setting personal goals. Those are things I don't think I would have thought of if I wasn't in my role or been in this world, because as a consultant, there are, you have your projects you're working on, but you're also very much focused on internal and, personal goals that you have. Everything is very goal-oriented or project-oriented. And I do believe you can take some of that and apply it to your personal life and really benefit from it. You don't exactly have to treat your personal life like work, but there's definitely some pros that can help you along the way. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm more than happy to make more. I want to the focus of this video is to be on consulting and what it kind of means to be a consultant, but I'm more than happy to talk about more than consulting and or other career areas I can help in. I have helped several of my friends and or mentees in their careers and get ahead in their careers and give them coaching advice. So I'd love to use this channel, this video, to kind of help anyone that needs it. Thanks.